Hey everybody, welcome to Geek Rant. It's Greg here again on the channel with Toby, and tonight we're going to be talking about episode 2 of She-Hulk. Hey everybody, thanks for joining us tonight. And we're going to be talking about the second episode of the She-Hulk series on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
This came out last Thursday, so we're a couple of days behind, but never mind. We'll still pick it up. I was very disappointed in this episode.
Yeah.
Straight off the bat, I was one. It was a really short episode.
28 minutes. 28 minutes. My
It
God.
was less than that. I think that's
Well,
probably with all the credits they put at the end.
yeah.
Five
Well, I
or
mean,
6 minutes of it.
yeah, exactly.
They had a really long sort of recap bit at the beginning, which was a good minute or two.
Yeah, they're probably just trying to fill up the time, aren't they?
I know.
Superhuman Law, it's called. Superhuman Law. They've got
Right,
very
is that what the episode
yeah.
was called?
So it's quite a narrow title, isn't it? In a
Yes.
sense, they
Yeah.
obviously had one agenda with this episode, and
Yeah.
that was to establish her as the superhuman lawyer.
Yes.
You know,
I think for me, everything is just flying along so quickly.
yeah,
There is no time to sort of experience any character development or any sort of plot. It is so basic and it's so quick. I think that's just what blew my mind when we watched Moon Knight. We had some
yeah.
good build-ups and we had some good, talking about emotions and feelings
Yeah.
and all
Yeah.
this sort of thing. And there's none of that. It is
No.
she so the beginning of the episode, she's celebrating, isn't she? She goes to a bar
Yeah.
with her friend, with the legal
The
assistant,
assistant,
something like that,
something
isn't it?
like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, so they go to the bar and she says, "Oh, change into She-Hulk." That's what everyone's calling it. And she's like, "Oh,
Mm,
She-Hulk. Well, I don't want to be a derivative of the Hulk." Well,
mm.
let's not be funny about it. You actually are, aren't you? Because
Yep.
you came from
The
his
blood.
blood. So,
Yeah.
it's like, don't be so precious. Um, so they go in and she basically gets fired, doesn't she? After
Yeah.
a couple of minutes. Um, she goes and has this terrible meeting with her family. I mean, that was just
That's weird, wasn't it?
rubbish. It
What
was
was all that
rubbish.
about? I don't know how that added to the show at all.
It
It was
was
a kind of a
so
weird.
badly written, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The
That's the
the,
thing. There's
the
there's hardly any
jokes.
script. The jokes are terrible. The narrative is really cut short. They're leading you with each sentence just onto the
Yeah,
next scene.
yeah.
You don't feel like you're
Just
present.
it's bizarre, isn't it? And
Mm,
you know, I mean, when the dad was going on about Hawkeye and his arrows, I thought, oh, that's a really old sort of joke. That's like a
yeah.
really we had that like 10 years ago when they were in the first Avengers. Everyone was joking about, oh, they've all got superpowers. He's got an bow and arrow.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a bit weird. Where does he keep all the arrows? I was like, does he go and pick them up? I'm like, what the hell? How would she know that anyway? It's not like he's
Yeah.
a current hero that they hang out or
And yeah, that's the thing as well. When she is their daughter,
yeah,
surely they would just treat her like she's
yes,
their daughter, not some
yeah,
kind of strange superhuman.
yeah,
You
yeah.
think
You
that's
think
where
there would
you'd
be
go,
a
wouldn't you? To
Yeah,
get some
you'd
kind
think
of
there'd be a
family.
lot more sort of family questions, a lot more, are you okay? This is quite major. You're now got the ability to turn into a Hulk. It's like it's not even thinking about what is actually happening at the
No,
time. Do you know what I mean?
they're
I'm
not
like,
projecting the reality onto the situation, are they? It's
it's so
completely it's
bizarre.
bamboozling. I was still it was going at a breakneck pace by this
I
point.
know. I
She goes
know.
through this series of potential interviews with
Yeah.
the other
Yeah.
law firms, isn't she?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they'll just say no, 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 no. There's no kind of interesting encounter where
Yeah.
she talks to them and then they say, "Oh, you're her." you know.
Exactly.
And there's one line about compromising the company or something like that,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
but otherwise, they didn't utilize that.
No.
That
But
just
but
like,
then suddenly she's got another job. She gets
well,
approached by the guy from the other side, on the
yeah,
original case, and it was like there's no time for anything to be experienced here. We seem to, like you say, we're just going through these things at breakneck speed.
mm,
I mean, they could have made a lot more out of this scenario, couldn't they?
mm.
And her feeling down about it, and all this sort of thing.
She
They
never questions either. She's like,
no,
she's like just accepts everything that's thrown at her. She doesn't argue. Um, she's just like, she gets
she
off the job. She
moans
goes,
about it
yeah,
a bit.
sure,
She moans about it
sure,
a
yeah,
bit.
yeah. She moans about it, but she's like,
Mm.
yeah, no, I'll take the job. Good, done.
Yeah, yeah,
You know, and
yeah, absolutely. Straight in there. Didn't know what it was, and
it was
then so
obvious that
when
there was going to be something about it, wasn't there? It was obviously, but she didn't think, even though she's meant to be like a lawyer that is
yeah,
super kind of prodigy type lawyer where she's
yeah,
pretty good, and suddenly she's in this situation. She doesn't want to ask any questions. Okay, what's the catch?
yeah, exactly.
Oh,
You've
you
just been
can't be
turned.
yourself.
Yeah, you've just been turned down by 6 or 7 firms in the space of 5 minutes, and
Mm,
you know you're not going to ask any questions about the job. Just yeah, no, I'll have it, and especially with the guy
yeah,
who she was up against, so she's
yeah,
gone from being a prosecutor down to a defender,
yeah,
um, two very different sides of the fence, isn't it?
yeah.
In the legal world. Um, I'm amazed. I couldn't believe how bad how bad this was.
Mm.
I really couldn't
So
believe it.
yeah, we got into this situation where this kind of sort of all tumbled out, and then suddenly
Mm.
she's in front of Tim Roth,
Yeah,
the Abomination,
yeah,
who fought Hulk,
yeah.
obviously, and
Mm.
and I was this was the moment for me when I
Yeah.
was kind of like, this is the thing that I've really had any sort of interest
Yes,
in this
yeah.
series, apart from Daredevil popping up. So I thought, right, I like the Abomination character. I've always liked him in the comics and in the previous films, and I thought,
Yeah.
right, let's see what they do with this.
Mm.
Okay,
Mm.
and big fan of Tim Roth. I think he's
Tim
a
Roth,
great
he's a
actor.
good actor. Yeah, yeah.
He can present many different sorts of characters.
Yeah.
We've seen him do lots of different things, and then he appears, and I still don't know whether I liked what I saw or whether I didn't.
I know.
It was so weird.
It was just weird, wasn't it?
It was
It
weird.
was
I kind
unexpected.
of laughed though. It was
Mm.
unexpected, and he's taken this Zen approach, isn't he, to life?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He's a reformed character.
So we think, yeah, yeah.
He presents it like this,
Yeah,
doesn't
he
he?
does, doesn't
And
he? He says, I thought I was going to be a hero. I thought I was going to be like Captain America.
and then
And
I
they,
bought that at that moment. I
yeah,
bought it
I didn't think
when he
that was
was
such a
saying it.
bad explanation.
No, I
You
thought
could
it was
hear
quite
his side
clever.
of the argument, couldn't you?
Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
and it was presenting that,
Yeah.
that he felt like he'd been tricked into
Yes.
this role,
Yeah.
and that he was sorry, and that he writes these haikus, these poems
Yeah. Yeah.
that he's. And then we find out later, incidentally, that Bruce has already received one.
Yeah, that was the only time I laughed in this
Yeah,
episode, was right at the
yeah,
end where they were laughing about the She-Hulk name, and he'd said about, oh, that fight was ages ago. I feel like a completely different person, and
yeah,
it's like, well, yeah, we know you were played by a different,
yeah, yeah. That was a little,
actor at the
yeah,
time. A little
yeah. It
nod
was a
there,
little
wasn't
good,
it?
good little
To
reference that was, but
yeah, but yeah,
I quite liked the Tim Roth approach. I
yes,
thought that was interesting, and it was the only sort of believable bit when I thought, oh, she could actually be convinced to represent him,
yes, yeah.
in this moment through
She
what
was a
he
bit.
said.
She was a bit,
Yeah,
wasn't she?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
No, I agree. But again, it was a very quick conversation, wasn't it? It
Yeah,
wasn't, the build up to it was very basic. She turned up at the prison. The guy said, "Oh, no, you need to be human form to come in here." Let
yeah,
us in. Just don't say anything to him. Don't step on the white line or where it is. But it wasn't built up. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't any real
no.
build up to it.
This is
That's
a
what I mean. It
big
wasn't.
moment.
It was a big moment, wasn't it? You're going to
Yeah, as
go
I
and
was saying, I was
see
looking forward to
see,
this bit.
see the person that was a big, huge monster that fought her cousin, and they
Yeah,
they totaled a load of buildings and stuff.
yeah.
No real build up to it. No emotional. We don't. I don't feel any emotional attachment to her character. You know,
No,
they're not doing her any favors, are they? With the script, with the build ups, it's just been thrown together. And I started to wonder, have they just cut out a load of stuff, that was just a
well,
load of tosh.
maybe. I don't know, but I shouldn't imagine they're probably getting the scripts, the actors, and looking at them, and she's probably thinking, "Oh, is this all I've got to say?" You
Yeah,
know, there's
yeah.
not really much going on. It's a shame, but we've got this new character, and I was thinking, oh, this is interesting.
Mm.
Tim Roth's character, and then we get this shot at the end that apparently Abomination has escaped and
Yeah.
is fighting in some cage fighting pit that we see in this clip.
Well, that was from Shang-Chi, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
it
The
was, wasn't it?
film
Yeah,
and from the Ten Rings.
yeah,
And I did sort of think to myself, are they just going to brush over that completely? Because he showed up. There was a fight between him and Wong, wasn't it? It was Wong
yeah,
that brought him. And again, you think Wong, a character who is very moral, he's been shown to be trying to defend the universe and defend the
yeah,
world and keep all the peace. And so,
yeah.
what has he sprung him out of jail by doing one of those swirly,
Maybe,
got him out and then
maybe.
put him back because that was. But also, it's given us now a timeline. Is that in when was that around the Shang-Chi time? That movie, how that's all sort of panning out.
It was a little bit. There was just not much to be going on, was there? It just didn't really.
No,
Yeah, it was odd. That was pretty odd. I was hoping that
yeah,
he might turn into Abomination in the cell.
yeah,
That's what I was hoping for, but he didn't do
yeah,
that.
yeah.
So how
No,
much
but
control he has,
there
I
is
don't know.
footage of him doing that in trailers.
Right? Yeah, there
So
is,
I
isn't
think
there? Actually,
so,
so
and she does like, oh, reduce back down. She's obviously going to go and talk to him, but I'm presuming he's still in the jail. He is actually still in the jail. That was just footage from before,
yeah,
that he'd
right.
gone and
Oh,
done
okay.
what he'd done.
Oh,
Yeah, and also the at the end there, where she obviously rings Bruce, doesn't she? Before she finds that out, she rings Bruce. She has a chat with him, and he says, "Yeah, don't worry about it." She Hulk's quite a funny name, brilliant. And then, oh well, I'll see you soon. And then you pan out, and he's flying off, isn't he, to Sakar?
yeah, yeah.
We presume. So, is that his involvement in this series over now?
I wonder. It's difficult. There's not much to go on, is
It's
there?
not much to go. So they've got rid of the other main character,
Yeah,
potentially.
yeah.
You don't go flying off to another universe and it take 5 minutes. Well, I suppose it
Mm,
can do in
mm.
a universe like this, but that again was, oh, that's a shame. Their interaction's probably over now, isn't it? So he was pretty much saying, "I'll see you later," sort of thing.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't,
so,
it's
but
I wasn't really that enamored with how they were treating the Hulk anyway in the show.
no, no, it wasn't. Not a lot has worked, has it, in this show? At
No.
least we've been able to say in other shows, "Oh, I like this," or "I like that aspect." That's what
Yeah.
There's been some attempt to make some character building. There's just nothing, is there? It's just, and
Mm,
they try and it's obviously they're trying to take a feminist approach to it, but then they're doing things in there that damage that, even that, like
Yeah.
when you
She's
see
just
her
coming across
phone.
as sort of a neurotic woman,
Yeah. When you
who
see her
can't,
phone
who's
in there,
just
I don't
says
know if you
yes to everything.
noticed that there's a bit
Mm,
where you see her phone when she's looking for jobs and stuff, and her like a screensaver is Captain America's ass. You know,
is it?
I d- yeah. Did you not notice that?
No, I didn't notice that.
I was like, oh my god! It was only very quickly, but you see it, and it's like, what? And she's going on about being objectified and all that sort of thing, and it's
Yeah.
like, what are they doing with this?
But a lot of that is just washes over my head now. I'm just, you know,
No, I
that's,
know.
I just like, oh well.
I think back to some of the other reviews that we've done, and
Mm,
we've been after the first couple of episodes. We've been sort of thinking, oh, there could be some hope for this. There could be, even like Obi-Wan, we were saying
mm,
the first two episodes weren't too bad. There might be some hope here.
yeah,
I mean, this is dire, isn't it? This is like this is
yeah.
probably the worst Marvel series I've seen.
It is pretty
It
bad.
is really bad. And I tell you
She's a
what,
good
I think
character as well, because Marvel don't have that many great female characters,
exactly,
and she
exactly.
really is a good comic
Yeah,
book
yeah,
character. They could have done
yeah.
something good with her.
This could have been so much. And I don't blame the actress. I don't blame
No,
her at all.
no.
I just think she's been
Tatiana
given a completely
Maslany.
terrible script, terrible, approach to this. It's
Yeah,
just been horrendous. And the other thing I thought in this episode, I mean, I thought the first episode was fine, but the second episode CGI of her
yeah,
seems to seems to have gone down a bit.
definitely. The scenes in the bar were
In the
bad.
bar were bad, weren't they?
Yeah,
There
but I
was
think
some
they're
really,
older scenes because I think we saw those in some of the trailers, and they haven't really touched up that scene as well
yeah,
as they have done some of the other ones. I mean, you can see in
yeah,
the face is slightly more refined, but
yeah.
there's lots of elements about how the movement works,
With
and
the movement, yes, where she's
yeah,
walking around in the bit where she's been introduced to the new law firm, that bit was a bit, and I think that's why maybe they brought her back down to be, oh, you can't have your powers in here. You know what I mean? I think that maybe that was, to
yeah,
try and
and it saves money
save money, doesn't it? But
as well.
uh,
Yeah, hides the
yeah.
damage. Well, one good thing about they
Mm.
are like 23 minutes, so
Yeah, they don't last very
I,
long. No, I
I,
know,
I,
but this is the shame
yeah,
of it, isn't it? They're just this is what we've been concerned about in the past, is that they're just churning these things out, so
yeah,
quickly. They're just trying to get the content out there for the fact that they've got however million subscribers.
yeah,
Um, and that's the real danger with this, isn't it? They're just churning this out. They're not thinking it through. It doesn't feel
no,
like it's got any plan. It doesn't feel like it's got any consistency with other Marvel things. It's
yeah.
yeah,
I was kind of looking forward to seeing some sort of minor characters,
yeah,
as well, that and give
yeah.
them a bit more flesh, like
Mm, mm,
Titania.
mm.
I thought maybe this she might be an interesting character. I quite like it when they bring in minor characters, but
Yeah,
no, it's just pretty slapstick, isn't it? It's not great.
it's yeah, yeah. Real disappointment. Are we going to be brave enough to watch the next episodes?
I think we should stick with it.
We've got to
Just
stick
for
with it,
the,
haven't we?
I think we
Just
will
for
stick with it.
our professionalism. It's
Yeah,
got to shine
dedication.
through. Dedication to the cause.
Yeah,
Oh dear. Who knows? Who knows? It can't get any worse, can it? Could get a bit better.
might not. I thought I said that about Obi-Wan, but I was proved wrong.
Well, like you said, they've got they got the Daredevil, coming
Yeah,
in,
this is it. This is the little teasers, the
but
little
this
characters
is
that they could
this
bring
then
in.
makes me really worried. It's like, shit, are they gonna completely fuck that up as well?
I
Are
think
we
that we
now
can
gonna?
pretty much sort of write these episodes off as, and people forget
Yeah,
about them.
yeah,
So I'm not too worried about that. So
no.
we'll see.
Well, thanks very much for watching tonight. Yeah, we weren't impressed with that one.
No,
But like I say, we'll review it. We'll review the next episode when it comes out. And thanks again for listening. If you like what we're saying, obviously, please subscribe, like the videos, add any comments. Tell us
That'd
if
be
you
great.
liked it. Tell us something positive about this series, you know. Um, otherwise, thanks very much and have a good evening. Bye.